Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Friday, September 26th edition of the Daily Pulse. And if it's Friday, you know what that means. That means that we're going live. You're watching this show live. If you're watching it right now at 10 a.m. here Eastern Time, of course, like all of our Daily Pulse episodes and all of our Inside Lowell content, you're free to watch it, consume it, at any time you want. News, information, and sometimes entertainment on your schedule, not ours. But thank you for joining us. If you are here live, I'm your host, Teddy Panos, and hail, hail. The gang's all here. We've got the Pod Squad here. We've got the fabulous Lindsay in the house as well, ready to bring you, well, our end of the week show, I should call it, not a weekend show.
Yeah, getting into the weekend.
We're getting into the weekend.
Yes.
So we're going to look ahead, we're going to look back. We've got the Pod Squad, Michaela Hondras-McCarthy on the left, not just politically, but actually sitting on you there this week. How are you, Hyphen?
Great. You
ready?
I'm ready, Teddy.
You know this was about you. Off on the right, none other than Batch, Mike Bacigalupo in the house, looking... By the way, why'd you dress up for us?
So that's what I said.
What are you talking about?
I was wondering that when you walked in.
It's a great color, the purple.
I said to him, it's a perfect shirt to wear to the Megan House 10th anniversary gala.
Right.
Oh,
that's right.
Tomorrow night, Batch.
I gotta go get a suit coat though.
You got a 10-year-old helping you find a suit
I do.
coat.
That'll work out good.
Well, I'm glad the two of you are here, the Pod Squad, and hey, looky here. We got our friend, the fabulous Lindsay. In case you don't remember her name, we now put it in writing up above with a little arrow pointing down. She is.
Looks like you're making fake IDs over there.
Linda.
Oh my gosh, actually? Yeah.
She really does. How are you, Liz?
I'm good.
You're looking resplendent today. I like it.
What does that mean?
You're looking good. You're looking festive. By the way,
wicked good. That's what it means.
I'm wearing blue.
the girls are wearing blue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm liking it. You ready to monitor that Shaw Farm pulse line?
I'm so excited.
I can tell you certainly are, of course. Let's put the word out to you right now. If you want to get in on our excitement here on the Daily Pulse Live, you can text on in on the Shaw Farm delivery line, 978-PULSE-IN, 978-PULSE-IN, or 978-78-7346. Send your feedback in, and Lindsay will be happy to deliver it to us, just like Shaw Farm is happy to deliver their farm store right from their farm to your front door. Fresh, local, and delivered with care. Sign up at shawfarm.com to take advantage of it. So, we got a big week here at Inside Lowell, a big week in the city of Lowell, a big week on the planet around us. Where do you guys want to start? I'll open the floor. Unlike the Lowell City Council, I will open the floor to...
No.
There was no mistake there. Come on.
Boy, did I hear about that yesterday.
I was wondering if you did or not. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did.
God forbid, right?
Look, all I said was it wouldn't have made a difference. But I, as a citizen watching at home, as somebody who's interested in this stuff, covers it, I would have loved to have heard the reasoning. Why I would have loved to have heard Councillor Vesna-Noon's reasoning for why he voted against the ban on safe injection sites.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have heard what Councillor Jeunesse wanted to say, since he kept saying he wanted to say something, but they kind of went past the process and then went back to him. I would have liked to have heard what some of the other councillors had to say about why they supported banning
Well, won't there be
injection sites.
Will there be a chance when I forget who it is, but somebody loves to do those open meeting law complaints? There'll be like some kind of procedural complaint sent to the... I forget who it is.
Oh, you know what? That's an interesting point. Well, you're talking about Laura Ortiz, but out on one of our posts about safe injection sites, she actually was on the same side as me and the folks who say, no, these aren't
that's
make
right.
a lick of difference.
The comments,
Really?
the comments were excellent. My favorite was somebody saying, basically, like, what have we learned in the last 5 years is to trust health professionals. I'm like, really? We've all learned that?
Do those people still wear a mask when they're on their keyboard?
Listen,
the ones that want to trust the health professionals?
There are masked people around still. You see them all the time.
For different reasons.
If you're doing chemo, if your immune system is compromised, I get it. I'd be paranoid too at this point. But if you're kind of just walking around because you're...
There should be
freedom of people to do whatever they want.
I think there should be a mask.
There that makes you feel better.
What about a mask color coding system so you know? Like red is for I've got like, I'm getting treatment.
Oh no, pink is the color for breast cancer and other, right? So you could wear pink. A pink mask would mean I'm a cancer.
We just have a general cancer color,
Patient or
right?
something.
And then
Is
have
it
like
required to wear your proper color then?
no, but it'd be like
What are we getting into?
I
yellow.
can't tell if you're appalled by this conversation.
Yellow.
Lindsay,
No, but yellow would
There's
be.
a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of shenanigans.
I feel
happen
like
here.
you're walking into territory for someone to get mad.
I don't care about that. Yellow would. But yellow would.
Welcome to the Friday show.
Yellow would be the color of COVID. Because you're scared. It'd be good. Anyways, good comments on the.
But see, here's my question though, because we are in election season, and there is a law, an ordinance that you cannot be within, what's the number? Is it 150 feet of a polling location holding up a campaign sign?
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
Oh.
Should the mask
Be
treated as a campaign sign?
No. Can we do
Because if you're wearing a mask,
Well, you know which side you're voting.
unless you've got the
If the
cancer
mask says
survivor.
vote XYZ, then yes, it is.
But I don't know.
If it doesn't, come on.
But aren't you basically, if you're wearing a mask still today and you're not, a cancer patient or survivor, aren't you in essence saying vote Democrat?
No.
No? Oh.
No.
If you have asthma.
No. You are not.
That's all. So we should have a color mask for
Can we
asthma.
stop trying
if you
to
had
put
a-
this
if you
put
had a-
people into buckets? Like, for God's sake.
Wait, if you had a mask for asthma, wouldn't that make your asthma worse?
You would think.
Like,
But hey,
wouldn't an airstrip be better?
you gotta listen to the health professionals.
Oh, the health professional.
And make sure you go get. I think CVS is now offering your 25th booster shot, guaranteed not to get COVID within the first 5 minutes of getting your shot.
So health, I would say that the health people are there to
How
provide.
did we end up on this?
I think it was my.
What?
It might
Where
have
are
been.
we?
It might have been my fault. But the health department people, you should listen to them to inform your decisions, but you should never let them, make
Ruin your
policy.
life.
Yeah, like because we listened to them in COVID. What happened? We have a generation of effed up kids, right?
No, we
And
take a
bunch-
lot of guidelines from health professionals. Like,
Right, but they set policy during COVID. That was a mistake.
And they prove that they'll choose the pharmaceutical companies over
Well, no, but I mean,
actual science.
but they would
every time.
they would burn down an economy or destroy like whatever just to save one person. Like that's their mindset. They don't get like the whole. They're not pragmatic, I guess.
Or to make sure a beach house in Seabrook gets constant use.
Well,
instead
yeah,
of
there's
just
that too.
Seasonal as well. Anyway,
digress.
978 Pulse in. That's the Shaw Farm Pulse line. Text 978 Pulse in with your feedback. We're already careening off the edge.
Sorry.
And we haven't even gotten to the
what are we
to the safe injection site discussion. 978-785-7346.
By the way, do you know
the number?
Do you know that I got through COVID? I only wore a mask once. I had a bandana the rest of the time.
Well, it's like a mask, though.
That's a mask.
I like
Yeah. And
How many banks did you rob?
all of them.
You're like a bandit.
Well, I feel like I did. I got that. What was that? What were those loans called? The
PPP loan.
Oh,
I got a
PPP,
PPP loan. It felt like I was robbing a bank. But no, I was looking for something in my bag the other day. And my bandana's still in there from COVID. I'm like, oh yeah.
Have you watched? You
Those
haven't watched it
times.
yet either.
Well, I haven't taken it out in 4 years, So
Do you think the virus is still alive on it?
I'd run one of those
I
tests.
can't. This is ridiculous.
I'd run a test strip over it.
Like, this is, I cannot.
I should try that.
Walk around. Try to walk into a bank now with that as your mask. See how that works out for you.
Well, I guess a hoodie's okay, but
The hoodie's definitely allowed. Anyway, last Tuesday night, the Lowell City Council shot down by an overwhelming margin, 9-1.
Shot
or
down.
I should say, they shot down.
but they
safe
safely
injection sites
injected it down.
by voting yes in favor of a ban on safe injection sites within City of Lowell limits. Interestingly enough, Wednesday night, the Boston City Council was faced with a similar motion to ban safe injection sites and said, 8-3 will allow them for now if and when it becomes a state law
God.
and comes in.
Boston's going to be the new Seattle,
Listen, I think that's a good thing because I think Boston should open safe injection
Yeah,
sites.
you want everybody from Lowell to go.
Giant magnet. Get everybody out of Lowell. Leave South Common, leave Bishop Markham, leave wherever the hell you are, the train tracks, the Merrimack River, and head to Boston. Safe injection sites. If they work as planned, people will flock to safe injection sites so that they can safely stick a needle with poison in their arm under the supervision of somebody who's probably getting a salary from probably a nonprofit, right? Because I don't think the government wants to be involved in case something goes wrong, right? Yeah, because then you open yourself up to some legal liability, maybe.
Well, maybe they'll create like a pot board, like, you know, similar to that. We hire a bunch of people, pay them some money, and have them do bad things. It'd be kind of the same thing.
I don't know enough about this like topic. It's like obviously like a really complex issue to like really speak on it with any. But I just feel like there's a reason why people are pushing for this, right? So what are the arguments for it? Like,
so thank you for saying that. What is the
and
reason?
can you say it without being
people
like?
are pushing for
can you
it?
say it like without being like? These people want like what is like the actual like? What do you think?
I do have a new theory that has popped up, and it's basically informed by a lot of research I've done.
Okay.
Centered around Vancouver, British Columbia.
Okay.
Which, when folks say follow the science, trust the science, and I was told by the city's biggest barking dog on social media that I don't listen to scientists. I'm not going to bother giving his name, but if you follow the thread on Inside Lowell, you'll see a little back and forth with me where the coward threw out an accusation and then backed down quickly. It's kind of a coward, but slander. It's one thing to be a keyboard warrior; it's another thing to engage in slander.
There were no samurai swords involved, were there?
No samurai swords involved.
Different person.
Somebody far more out there than samurai sword. But anyway, so I did some research on this.
Okay.
You guys know what I do, right? Tomorrow night we're going to go celebrate 10 years of helping save lives and recovery for the Megan House Foundation. And this is not, by the way, this is not their point of view. I am not speaking on their behalf. I'm speaking as Teddy Panos. But I have taken an interest over the last 10 years in the issue, and I've done a fair amount of research, and I'm doing even more now because everybody said, as the motion was first proposed, as the state representative, Tara Hong, who signed on to it on Beacon Hill, said, I support this, I stand behind every provision of it, blah, blah, blah. So I started looking, and everyone said, well, the studies are showing they work. The studies are showing they work.
The safe injection sites work.
Injection sites work.
Work at what?
That's open for interpretation, but most of the studies, well over 50% of the studies that have looked at this seriously revolve around Vancouver, British Columbia.
Okay.
By the way, the vast majority of these studies that show that they work are also dated 2017 to 2019, which is interesting because I actually eventually dug deep enough to find some studies from 2024 and 2025, which aren't as complimentary. But Vancouver, British Columbia opened the first injection site in Canada in 2003. Okay. It was groundbreaking, a way to solve the opioid crisis. For kind of reference, today the Vancouver Regional Department of Public Health oversees 14 safe injection sites. So the greater Vancouver area today has 14 safe injection sites after opening the first one in 2003.
Overseas or
they oversee.
Oh, they oversee.
They oversee them.
Okay,
they oversee them. They're not in Ireland or
just
or
a little
the
point
United
of
Kingdom.
clarification. Okay.
There are in total 51 safe injection sites in the entire province of British Columbia.
Oh.
Provinces, for those who don't know, are the states that Canada has instead of states.
So drug use must be going down.
So you would think Vancouver opened one in 2003. They have got 14. The whole province has 51. You would think they work, right? We should see a reduction in the number of overdose deaths.
So that's the measure of do they work or not, overdose deaths or not, right?
Well, so I don't know. You tell me what the measure is. The measure to reduce the incidence of AIDS and the spread of hepatitis and other public health issues is the goal to clean up your streets and have people shooting up.
That might be a goal.
Or how about reduce?
As opposed to out in public.
I'd want to see reduced drug use overall.
You would think,
because people get into treatment.
Sure, with all these people pouring into that safe injection site since 2003 and the other 51, so many of them are getting put. They're not just being enabled; they're being pushed into treatment. They're being told, "Hey, you can get treatment here. We encourage you to get treatment." That's the argument in favor of them, right?
Treatment being the ability
long-term recovery, addiction treatment, so you can start on the long, difficult path to recovery. Mm-hmm. That is the Disney World adaptation that the Well, I'm going to say it. Sorry, Vic, that the left is putting out there behind this thing. So, again, 2003 is when the first safe injection site opened in Vancouver, British Columbia. In 2016, British Columbia's provincial health officer declared a state of emergency over opioid deaths, with Vancouver at the center of it. By the way, this is all from a BBC article.
Yeah.
Canada's BBC, not a right-wing rag. We're not talking the New York Post. We're not talking,
Yeah.
Turning Point USA. We're not talking about Tucker Carlson. We're talking about the BBC. About as left as you can go for mainstream media, right?
So that's 20 years later.
13 years later, in 2016, they had to declare a public health, a state of emergency over opioid deaths.
Yeah. So there could be a few things going on there too, right? Like you could have just an influx of the drugs. You could have, you can't
More lethal
You
strains.
can't, right. You can't completely tie it to the prevalence of this safe
Correct.
injection sites, but it's a point of it's not getting better.
But it's not getting better.
Yeah.
Now, what
see what you're
happened
saying.
around 2015 and 2016? You started to see fentanyl replace heroin.
Yeah, okay.
When people used to do opiates, it was a lot of prescribed drugs, stealing the prescribed painkillers, Oxy from grandma, grandpa, mom and dad's medicine cabinet, etc.
Yeah.
Eventually evolves into an addiction, and now you got to start shooting heroin because it's cheaper and more readily available, right? And you don't have to rob a pharmacy for it. You can just go buy it on the street.
It's unfortunate that that's what they're kind of, not to interrupt, but I just had a thought and I'll lose it if I don't say it. But instead of getting to like the root issue, which I think was a lot of the overprescription of the painkillers, and that's how people got into the addictions in the first place. A lot of people, they're treating the end, which is the injection, making the injection of the drug safe, which is not addressing the root cause, right?
Exactly.
And the stats are bearing it out. If you look at that, after 13 years, the issue got worse in Vancouver and in British Columbia.
Yeah.
So here's where it gets even more insane, but I think points to what might be the end goal here. In 2023, further acknowledging the failure of their policies leading up to then, British Columbia legalized illicit drugs in 2023. They decriminalized the possession of, I believe it was up to 2.5
Heroin?
of heroin, of other illicit drugs. They decriminalized it. Yep. And they tout, as part of this article in the BBC, they touted the fact, well, there's been a 76% drop in drug possession charges.
Yeah, because
No kidding.
I mean,
Wait, what?
There's been so if you stop arresting people for possessing heroin, crystal meth, whatever the drug is, naturally you're going to see a drop in arrests, right?
did they decriminalize DWI too?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No, we don't have safe driving sites.
Oh, all right,
We can push for them, but now 2023, you would think that we've now made it, by decriminalizing it, we've removed the stigma, and we combine it with these 51 safe injection sites, and we're really making some headway now in the process. No.
Did they decriminalize it because they're considering it like kind of like a mental health issue or like something like that, where like it's an addiction, so you don't want to treat addicts as criminals kind of thing? Is that sort of what they're trying
That's
to do?
the language around it.
Is it? Okay.
That's the
I
language
don't
around
know. It's, but you have to think about like, what are you incentivizing with the policies, right? Like,
it's a free-for-all.
It's a great question. In 2023, British Columbia hit a grim milestone of more than 2,500 drug overdose deaths, the most in that province's history. And Vancouver, right at the fore of it. 2024, just as bad.
I don't.
So the number of drug overdose deaths, if the goal is to keep people alive, to bring them under the tent so that they can safely inject, again, if you can tell me how it's safe to put a needle in your arm that is carrying poison, whether it's laced or not, we can have that discussion, but it's not working. You saw a 5% increase in the number of deaths. Now, the reason for that is there's more dangerous stuff out there
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
It's not just fentanyl anymore because Narcan
Isn't there other
can
stuff?
reverse
Yeah.
if you administer Narcan in a timely manner, you reverse
Yeah.
the Narcan effects. But now they're mixing stuff, the drug dealers are mixing stuff into the fentanyl that is Narcan resistant because it's not an opiate.
Yeah, the animal tranquilizer.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it's in like the horse tranquilizer.
xylazine, and
Yeah.
there's one other one. So, is the goal here to keep people alive in Massachusetts if we pass this as a legislature and in Lowell or Boston or wherever wants to adopt one of these? I'm starting to wonder, is the goal to keep them alive or to decriminalize drugs, period? Didn't we see a motion about that wasn't that a state ballot question in 2024 in Massachusetts?
What, decriminalizing drugs?
Yeah. Or
All drugs?
wasn't there, what if there was it either made it onto the ballot or didn't? I have to kind of look back.
I don't remember that being on
It's been a recent Massachusetts ballot question, or at least an attempt to get it on the ballot, decriminalizing drugs.
Do you think drugs are a danger to society?
Yes.
Look, drive by South Common, drive by Bishop Markham, and look around you. The results are devastating. And
So if I can go back in the Wayback Machine, right? So way back, when England was trying to get into China, like open those markets in like I think it was whenever it was, like the 1700s.
So something we learned about like in history, like the opioid.
Yeah,
like
so
the triangle, the
what they did was like they brought a bunch of opium over from India and released it in China, and it weakened their societies so that they were easier to like overtake. Yeah, that's basically what's going on now.
so
Like
you mean people who may not necessarily love the United States of America?
Yeah, it goes from China,
Canada, or
fentanyl comes.
So that's
fentanyl
an
comes
interesting take, Bad.
Fentanyl comes from China, goes to South America and Central America and Mexico, and it comes up here, destabilizes your society. It's a war basically.
What's the end goal here?
Yeah.
So, by the way, I did Google search in November of 2024.
Destabilize the U.S.
Yeah.
Massachusetts voters rejected a ballot question 4, that would have legalized and decriminalized certain psychedelic substances.
Oh, psychedelics. See,
Oh, okay.
Wasn't
So
it
like
mushrooms
mushrooms
for like mental
It's
health
like
purposes.
mushrooms are for people going on a nice hike or something.
But it's only I'm starting to see where this is going.
that one I was okay with.
I
That's
have a
just
question.
Yes, Lindsay.
What is this injection site you're talking about? Like, I know I sound stupid, but what is that?
So
These are good
to
questions.
be a basically you'd have like a like if it was in Lowell, right?
Okay.
It'd be a location not in Belvedere where you'd come in with your little bag of heroin or whatever it is, fentanyl, and you're allowed to.
They're enabling drug addicts
Yes.
to have.
Yeah, so somebody watches
you
you.
purchase the drugs. You previously purchased the drugs.
So picture that, like, so
Yeah, they're not giving the
and
drugs
you come
out.
in,
Right.
they won't take them from you.
So
unless you shoot up in
So
front
it's BYOD, right?
Is
So
that
you
a
walk
joke?
in. No.
it's-
So you walk in with your little bag of smack, right? And the nurse will swab you, and they'll give you a nice new needle.
Wait, they do. Oh.
They'll let you do whatever.
Do they actually partake
Do they
in
have
the
a
process?
do
or
the
no?
nurses?
They watch you,
They watch
How
you.
is
right?
the
that?
nurse-
How is
and then
that legal?
and then if you kibby out, they give you the Narcan. So it's it's safe.
It's safe. It's
But
trying to
like, but
prevent-
it does it
prevent-
enable it? Yeah, of course
That's
it's enabling.
enabling.
Yes, of course it is.
It's not legal if you listen to the United States laws. And the U.S. Attorney, Leah Foley, U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, chimed in on this, the result of a Lowell Sun editorial in April of 2025. And she said, no, this is categorically illegal and it will not fly as far as she is concerned, AKA the federal government and the Justice Department. So we can figure all that out. But just so you know, this isn't just a Vancouver, British Columbia issue. In 2020, Oregon decriminalized drugs, including heroin, cocaine, anything else. Oregon, the state of Oregon, in the United States of America, decriminalized drugs.
So can they do that? This is a stupid question. Can they do that if the federal law is?
They shouldn't be able to, but remember this, who took over the federal government in January of
Oregon,
2021 through
Yeah.
January of 2025. If you turn a blind eye to it, which is kind of what the Lowell Sun editorial recommended, then it works. But here's the kicker. It works so well in Oregon that in 2024, Oregon lawmakers, Oregon, home of Portland, as far left as you're
There's
gonna
some
get.
righties in
As-
Oregon too,
Sure.
though. There are.
But
Don't forget that whole thing that happened where didn't they like take over the state house? Or
They're on the other side of the mountain. It's basically like
Yeah.
this part of Oregon is like
Right, they're,
in
they're
this-
technically in another
So,
state,
yeah.
and they want to become
Yeah.
part
Yeah,
of
they
it.
They don't
do.
turn this into the lefty, you know.
No, it is.
But-
It's an urban
They have
versus.
they have a blue and red.
But Portland dominates it, and we know Portland is
Portland
the
happened.
Antifa Central. They took over. They had the Antifa zone during the summer of 2020. Remember, they took over the police station and the block, and it took all of a month of leftist governance to show what a disaster leftist governance.
By the way, this is all future New York City, but go
But
ahead.
yeah, welcome to the Big Apple. You can cut the apple up with a needle. In March of 2024, Oregon lawmakers voted to reverse the policy after it was blamed for a rise in public disorder and drug use.
Thank
What a shock. You
Wow.
decriminalize drugs, you're going to get a significant increase in drug use in public and public disorder. So Oregon overturned it. Now, I should have looked to see if Oregon has safe injection sites. That'll be my future research. But this same ideology that follows, starting in British Columbia in 2003, actually started in Portugal in 2001.
Wait, really?
And they say
Yeah,
they've had
they-
some success with decriminalizing drugs in Portugal.
Portugal has safe injection sites or decriminalized
They
drugs?
have,
I believe they do.
decriminalized drugs.
Okay.
I don't know if they have safe injection sites, but all of this
And
is kind of
Amsterdam's had it for years.
a step in focusing on a different way of trying to treat addiction and trying to enable recovery by enabling drug use. And it's not working. Despite what the barking dogs on Facebook will say, bark, Joe, bark. Despite what the barking dogs on Facebook say, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Maybe it
again, for what?
eliminates the spread of, it reduces the spread of AIDS,
Yeah.
hepatitis,
Yeah,
or
but
other
what
things.
does that matter? Because if you're helping them shoot up, their behavior's not going to change. They're still having the effects of the drugs to change. Like, that doesn't put the crime rate down or their behavior, whatever happens when they're on the drugs.
Hey, quit making sense.
But that, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
what the hell
The
does that
counter
do?
argument is, well, at least we're getting them there, and now we can try to push them into service after they come down from their
Why
high.
keep doing it? Now they're doing it safely.
I
They're not
think
even getting sick now, so why
that's
the hell wouldn't you keep doing it?
That's the argument that I'm using, but that's the argument that the other side will use. Well, we're getting them into counseling. Well, if we are, why did Canada declare a public health crisis in 2016, 13 years
But
after
like, are
their
they
safe
trapped
injection
there
site?
in the site, like being like, "Oh, we got you. Now you have to go to counseling"? No, don't
That's
they
a
have
really
free will to leave?
that's a really good question. I also wonder what happens when there's a waiting line.
They
at the
should at
site.
least agree if they're gonna go to the safe site and be like, "You have to stay here for at least 72 hours and try to go cold turkey."
Now that would be a common sense approach.
Like if you agree,
right?
if you agree to go to the site,
But then they won't go. That's the
then there's your issue. Then don't have it.
So you're not really helping them. You are.
That's like a rehab. That's like you get one more and then we're going. Like that's not like a safe ingest. So I think that the argument for it, right, is there's a whole sense of the harm reduction. You're treating this drug addiction like it's not like a mental illness, but like you're compromised mentally because you don't have the ability to resist this addiction, right? So
Yeah,
and you know a lot about this.
Or your mental illness is so severe that
Right.
you're self-medicating.
Sure.
And and instead of alcohol or some of the milder drugs, you've gone full tilt.
Sure.
Now, mind you, the same criminal element that's putting Narcan-resistant chemicals in fentanyl is also lacing your marijuana. If you're buying from the street as opposed to a dispensary, you're now running the risk, if you don't know or trust your dealer, and if your dealer doesn't know or trust the level above him or her
Right.
that's supplying the drugs, you run the risk of your marijuana now being laced with these chemicals.
Right. And the marijuana also is laced with these crazy pesticides that are completely illegal in the United States. Like, I mean, I know it seems like
But they don't have food dye, though, which is good.
no red 40.
No red-
As long as there's no red 40.
No
No.
red 40.
So-
Yeah, but
what I'm
DDT
trying
gets you
to-
a wicked high. No, I'm just-
Yeah. So I think the second half of my point is that I worry. I think it's a good thing, a good perspective to come from is like treating these people as people. Like they have they have a problem. You're trying to reduce harm. You're trying to make. But I worry that you're enabling and incentivizing drug use. Period. If you have these safe injection sites, and so that worries. I feel like it would become more prevalent like it did in Vancouver if you're doing this.
So, Michaela, you and I are going to agree. This may be the last time we're going to agree on this Daily Pulse Live show.
No, we don't. You know what? Let's set the bar high today, Teddy. I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I would say though that the decriminalization of some other stuff. Like I always wondered, you know, I remember growing up, kids used to like alcohol was a lot more readily available. And I feel like once it became a big deal and it was harder to get it, and there was a crackdown on underage drinking, that more kids started doing drugs. And like if you kind of loosen up the lighter stuff, maybe you prevent
If
more.
you turn them all into drunks.
Yeah,
They won't.
No, but like,
They won't.
no, but like,
Get them back on
no, but like, but seriously, like there's a scale, right? So like the legalization of marijuana, it's done a couple of good things. I mean, the like people aren't smoking, you know, DDT, fentanyl laced weed or whatever.
They can grow their own. You should be able to grow your own.
Yeah,
and
and you
smoke
could
that.
and you can actually grow a lot, but the
Like a bunch of plants.
yeah, but the psychedelics, like I voted to legalize that because I think I did. I don't remember actually. Wasn't high or anything, but but like that stuff would be like some of that stuff is milder, right? So if you could treat somebody with microdosing, it's better than them shooting up. Like so, but where's the line? For me, the line would be probably somewhere between like mushrooms and cocaine. Definitely not heroin or fentanyl. Like, but there's a line somewhere where I think you could kind of legalize some of it so people can access it more safe. But you know that like injecting like shooting heroin and fentanyl, nothing good comes out of that. Or crack.
What if all the resources proposed in this legislation, which also addresses other harm reduction things, but some of them worth trying, but what if all the money and resources that were put into that were put into long-term treatment, long-term recovery programs,
that's
coordinated with the drug courts and, you know, getting people into treatment as opposed to prisons, but also with some requirement for treatment instead of, you know, just, you know, here's your slap on the wrist, go on your merry way. Clearly, none of that is working. Look around us. The data's there. By the way, for anyone doubting me, that's the headline of the article right there. Success or failure, Canada's decriminalization test faces scrutiny for March of 2024.
Would you roll it out in your mimeograph machine? You could just put the link up.
I printed it in black and white.
Newspapers closed.
Dude, we just
High
got
tech.
the,
Oh, there we
the
go.
pulse line graphic.
Very high tech. We're very high tech here. We show the paper.
Link on the podcast. What do you guys think about what transpired this week around this discussion, the safe injection sites? Text 978 Pulse in. That's 978-785-7346. Get your feedback delivered to us on the Shaw Farm Pulse line. Shaw Farm Home Delivery. No time to shop. No problem. Get fresh Shaw Farm milk, ice cream, and more delivered right to your door. Sign up now at Shaw Farm.
I'm calling a roll call. No comments.
No, I don't second that motion. Let's go to the Pulse line. We do have some feedback coming on in.
Yeah, you
the
beat me
fabulous
to it.
Lindsay.
I was gonna read that one too. You
Which
beat me
one?
to it for the Shaw Pulse line. I was gonna read that
Oh.
one. You beat me to
Alright.
it.
Pick a different one.
Okay, I'll
By the way, the sponsor loves when you do the reads more than I do. So
Yeah, so
I'm just saying. Okay, so I'll just shut up.
Shaw Farm Home Delivery, from their family farm to your family table, fresh, local, and delivered with care. Sign up at shawfarm.com. This is from Michael Porters. No matter what issues come up on the city council floor or any public boards, both sides have to find common ground and or meet in the middle in regards to the Marquis group.
Oh, the Markley group.
we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
There's a nice little transition. That was the other motion that drew a lot of attention, and actually debate was had on that.
Yeah. Is there anything else on the safe injection sites?
Let me check.
I wonder. Because I think regulate the pills. Regulate the pills. Like these big pharmaceutical companies overprescribe, and that's how a lot of people get addicted in the first place. And they should be held responsible. Like it's you know,
I'm with you.
It happened to a lot of people.
I'm with you.
And it's so much easier to take a pill than to shoot up, right?
It is, but it's harder to get it.
But
heroin or opiates are so readily available in the streets now.
But it's easier to become addicted to a pill. Like you're not making a decision to. I don't know.
Was this about city council?
The Lowell City Council meeting the other night.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, so 𝐃𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐲 says, I'm surprised that the city council meeting ended at around 9:20 p.m. this past Tuesday. I thought it would go close until 10 p.m. I think you should ask Superintendent Skinner if he was surprised by any of the comments that school committee members made, and also how does the school district plan to be in compliance with the new Massachusetts pay transparency law that goes into effect on Wednesday, October 29th.
Well, there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
Superintendent Liam Skinner is going to be joining us next Thursday.
Pay
on Daily
transparency.
Pulse.
There's
Not that we won't get him on the live show.
every public school employee, you can find their salary.
You should be able to. Yeah.
You can. You just there's a
Yeah, if they're on public payroll.
I downloaded it once to see how many admins there were.
I remember that.
Yeah, there was a shit ton.
How long did it take you to read through the full list?
So the admins, jeez. I think I'm not done yet.
Anyway, Michael Porter's brought up the Markley Group.
Yeah.
Lowell's data center. We've talked about this a million times. Pod Squad, we've talked about it on the Daily Pulse. We've written about it. The Markley Group basically creates backup generators, has backup internet, backup data for their large company, their clients. With the advent of artificial intelligence, data centers are dealing with increased demand more and more energy use required for them, more storage, and actually more backup batteries. So the Markley Group,
You got to store all those selfies somewhere.
And the dog.
Dog pictures and
everybody's
selfies.
cloud photos.
That's
from
where
their
it lives.
All the
That's where
cat videos.
the Ring camera footage of your neighbor slipping and falling on ice while getting
Bill Belichick without his shirt on.
Belichick's
Very, very vital
the
data.
Hottie's house on the king. But anyway, our own Michaela Huntress McCarthy, you actually addressed the city council regarding the Markley Group. You actually co-authored a very in-depth piece that I thought was fair. Clearly, you're skeptical of what the Markley Group is trying to do and its environmental impact and so on and so forth. But you also acknowledge the need for data centers and to meet the expansion and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna give you the floor. Okay, we're not gonna sign batch. No
You guys
motions
did-
here to suppress the discussion. Let Michaela say her piece.
Before she starts, though, I got to say. No.
There's a motion.
No,
on the
no,
floor.
I
Let
just-
Michaela
Discussion.
speak.
Please, go ahead.
I thought of all the speakers, right? Michaela was probably one of the most effective, advocates or speakers that I've seen in a while, because everybody else got up
You're
there.
my friend, so you have to say that.
No, I like to make fun of you, so it was.
We
true.
tell you what we think you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
you know us.
But the other people that got up there were just I'm like, that's just NIMBY, or one's like it's just like they're just a wingbat, whatever. But your actual what you laid out, I'm like, oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. And it sparked me to do some of my own research or whatever.
Sure.
And I'm probably in favor of it, but the way you presented it, if more people, we were just talking about that, but if more people did it that way,
Right.
you actually brought up legitimate questions, not just.
But also offer some potential solutions.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job.
Suggestions that may mitigate things and might get us to a common ground where we can deal with the 21st and 22nd century while also being somewhat respectful of the environmental conditions and the impact on the neighborhood. I think you did a spectacular job.
Yeah, I did too.
And so does your article. I think people should go to InsideLowell.com, read the article that Michaela co-authored with William LaFay, and I thought it was impressive stuff. By the way, did the woman who came in from Boston from the Sierra Club?
Sam, I forget what
Yeah,
his last name is.
did she drive her car or bicycle in from Boston?
Who gives a shit, Teddy?
I'm just curious. She's
God.
talking about saving the environment, and yet somebody from Boston's coming into Lowell to talk about what I thought it was a neighborhood issue. Why are environmentalists from Boston and
She has direct experience
Mass
from living. She lives
360?
in Lynn, and she has had experience with dealing with things in Everett, similar things. So you want someone with expertise on an issue that has kind of gone through it before to speak on something that weird. I think.
She took the training.
I think maybe I don't know. I think Lowell can benefit from other lessons learned in other places, just like other places can benefit from what we're learning here in Lowell.
Does Lynn have a data center that requested more juice? By the way, I'm surprised to learn from Jerry Nutter that his son works for a data center out in Andover. There's one in Andover.
Oh,
Oh,
that I
really?
did not know about, and his job is to
I'm gonna have to
test
look
the
that one up.
backup generator.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you should
That's
talk.
really- I would love to.
Jerry offered a little bit of insight, but honestly, I should get Nutter's kid in here instead of
Yeah.
Nutter
Oh.
And
to
I-
talk about that. Let's set up a show with you, and 'cause
Down.
that's
I'm
what
down.
the kid does.
Let's do it.
Although if his company's as secretive as the Markley Group,
I don't know what we'll get out
they
of
may
it.
not let him come out and speak.
Yeah,
But
and about
anyway,
other people have been advocating for that, and I think for more transparency and better communication from the Markley Group before I came into the whole picture with this, before I kind of got turned on to the issue. So the people that have had the most, that should have their voices heard the most, I think, are the people that live right next to it, the neighbors, because
the neighbors, right.
these are the lived experiences of a lot of these people, and you want to, like, these are the people that live with it day after day, so you want to hear from those people the most.
that was
And
the
I
point
think-
I was trying to make.
Yeah.
I want to. If it should be a neighborhood issue, once it becomes a national/global issue about environmentalism, and people start coming from the Sierra Club, or as I understand, people are going to flood into City Hall from, what is it, Mass 350 or Mass 360? Is
Mass
that the other?
350.
Mass 350. They're going to try to come in for the subcommittee meeting on the joint subcommittee.
Well, a lot of
meeting
those
on
people
Tuesday.
are from Lowell too, so like a lot of those
If
people.
they're from Lowell,
Yeah.
great. But the issue has gone from a neighborhood concern issue to an environmental issue,
well,
to a large degree.
well, I think the abutters, because well, we heard from abutters, we didn't hear from the whole neighborhood, right? So I think the people that almost, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Like abutters, of course they're not going to want it there. Like you think the people that live next to Duck Island love it. You know what I mean? They'd prefer it was somewhere else. But guess what? You need a shit plant in the city, and somebody's going to have to live
I believe the
next to
formal
it.
term is a water treatment.
Oh, sorry. But like, there's a whole neighborhood that has to, the whole two neighborhoods have to smell that thing, right? But you have to have it. So the abutters, you should mitigate and do whatever you can for the abutters. But, it's kind of like, that's not my biggest, I'm more concerned with the overall thing than the abutters, frankly.
That's my problem with this discussion. We've gone, because the abutters' concerns are noise. There's ways to mitigate noise. Even if the DEP says it's within the
Yeah.
legal limits, more can be done to mitigate the noise, right? Markley talked about putting soundproofing on the generators themselves, putting up sound barriers like you see on Route 3 or other highways. There's ways to deal with that. A giant dirt pile that isn't watered and water's blowing it.
And dirt is blowing
You
into
can deal.
people's-
Yeah, you can. So
You
this
can't
stuff-
open your windows.
this
If
stuff
you live
can all
next to
be
a
dealt
dirt
with.
pile and it's a nice summer day and the wind is blowing and you get dirt in your house, you can't open a window.
Yeah, all of that are legitimate issues. I get it. I mean, I do. It's not like they had a park there with a merry-go-round in the center.
They do have
and
a
then they
park
put
right
and then
next
they put
to
a
it.
data center into it. It was an industrial site, a factory
Yeah.
with smokestacks.
Yeah.
Pollutants going into the air, diesel-powered 18-wheelers pulling in and out of there at all times of the day
Yeah.
to unload and upload pasta and whatnot to deliver so Anthony could have it on Prince Spaghetti Day in,
The smell of
in
garlic.
Boston. So if you've had a house there, you've always dealt with some level of this. And I'm going to guess there's always been some complaining about it. As Batch said, that's normal. Abutters will fight a sub shop, a gas station, they'll fight a high school, for Christ's sake. So we've seen
Yeah.
that up close and personal. But to me, that's a more solvable issue that can make every side happy and not give the message that Lowell is going to push back on this new, high-tech revolution or industrial revolution, which data centers will bring. And it's becoming an environmental issue. That's my concern. And I'm just wondering how many of these Sierra Club people or Mass 350 people have started protesting Governor Maura Healey's elimination of environmental requirements to build more housing, which creates sewer, which creates
Traffic.
pollution, traffic, so on and so forth. Why aren't they fighting this? Why are they
Can I
fighting the
yeah,
data
you're
center?
saying a lot of things. I'm trying to keep track of all my responses in my head here. Okay, this is tough. So, first of all, the abutters, yes, you're gonna have concerns of abutters anywhere if there's a big project, yeah. But if we're coming at this issue with the objective to measure the impacts to the neighborhood, those are the people that will have the most data for you.
And that's who the city should seek
And
to
that's-
appease first,
yes.
and Markley Group. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's first.
All right, good.
Second, the whole
Now you and your friends.
the environmental So the environmental,
Yes, I am.
you know,
know.
She's
one
giving me that you're an asshole.
One problem, yeah. So this is an example of telling Teddy when you have a problem with him. Like, we're
Oh, I
gonna
have
do
no
this,
problem
okay?
telling him I have a problem.
I have a big problem of you coming at, from your perspective, of cheapening any argument because it stems from environmental concerns.
What?
I have a big bone to pick with you about that. Number one.
Pick it.
All
Come
right.
on.
So this is an environmental concern. You have pollution, particulate matter going into the air, the abutters and the city in general. You have that happening as is now. So they're approved for 14 generators now, 71,000 gallons of diesel fuel, and there's concerns now.
Do we know, and this is a legitimate question, is there more of a negative environmental impact from the Markley Group than there was with the pasta factory?
That's a great question. Diesel fuel in trucks and, you know, smoke. I don't know what the smokestacks were spewing into the air from the factory. Probably not good stuff.
Probably
But
not.
diesel fuel from a truck, diesel fuel from a truck, and diesel fuel from I mean, just imagine diesel fuel from 167,000 gallons, which, you know, we quantified as the size of something that's larger than a shipping container and longer than 2/3 the size of a football field. You could just imagine, right? Like the things that are going to get spewed into the air from that capacity of storage.
In theory, but I can't speak to the technical advances they've made with diesel generators and capturing the carbon emissions and whatever.
Let me tell you, they have made advances where the particulate matter that they spew into the air is smaller, ultra-fine particles is what it's called, than can be really detected by any, or that can be measured instead of the PM 2.5 is what the other particles are called, by
Is that for the birthday?
DEP regulations, okay? No, that's the CO2. Or that's, yeah, anyway. But so what I'm trying to say is, what the heck am I trying to say?
So let me, do we know if the generators that the Markley Group is using are the latest and greatest technology on that front?
Well, some of them were installed. Some of them were installed a while ago.
Yeah, the old ones, the originals.
Yeah, and so the stacks that they can fit on top of some of the older ones, which are right outside one of the neighbors, Jake's Ford's windows, they can't support being tall enough to meet the current DEP regulations.
Okay.
So they come up to the second floor window, right? So some of them are older.
So is that why they have to do? Are some of these 14 to 16 that they're putting in replacements for the original ones they put?
No,
in
they're additions.
2014 or 2015.
No, they're additions. Okay. They're additional.
But they are meeting DEP standards, right?
So here's one of my big questions, right? They are approved for 14. Their total plan that's been approved is for 27 generators. In all, right? So that leaves another, they've got 18 approved for the fuel capacity that they just went for, right? So it's 14 plus 4 equals 18.
And they got another 9
plus
coming,
9
right?
is 27.
Next spring, is it?
But now it's not, they're not coming back for another 9. They're coming back for another 14. That's stated in their memo. So 14 minus...
In the spring of 2026?
So the current ask for the diesel fuel capacity is not to support the remaining 9 in the plan, but it's to support another 14 or 16, was it? That was in the memo. So they're not approved for that remainder of the 27 plus the additional. So they're preemptively coming to the city to be able to store fuel without, I could be wrong about this, but just doing the math, without getting approval from DEP for those additional generators, which makes me think that that's backwards. You should get approval from the state, be transparent with your plans, and then ask for more fuel. Why ask for this much more fuel now?
So my hunch is that they're looking at the future demand and saying we might as well rip the Band-Aid off once and for all rather than go through this every couple of months. That's my hunch. But
should the city just bend over and say, yeah, please, another one?
Well, so here's my question. Up to this point, the state has environmental standards, correct? Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Department of Environmental Protection.
Yeah.
Would you say the Massachusetts environmental protection is pretty, to borrow a term from our first live show together, robust?
Yeah.
In their environmental protection procedures and guidelines compared to Georgia, North Carolina, Wyoming, wherever? The Massachusetts DEP is pretty damn strict, except when you need to build housing. But they're pretty strict, correct?
I don't think they're strict enough. I think there's, if this data center was in the middle of a field somewhere, not in a densely populated area, the state's guidelines would be the state's guidelines on both of those things, right?
They're the same in a neighborhood versus an open field?
Well, the state doesn't delineate between, right, like the guidelines for something out in a field versus the guidelines. So I think the state is going to look out for the state in the general sense, where they have guidelines that meet their standards for any data center that would come online, right? But it is the city's job to look at what is being proposed and what they're willing to approve and what sort of guardrails they want to put on. Like the city's Lowell needs to look out for Lowell. The state's going to look out for the state. Lowell needs to say, what do we need to put on this project to make us feel okay as a city with this?
Well, but the underground storage would be the effect is the same whether it's in a field or in a city. It's underground. Like you're talking about like multiple. Like gas stations have about 20,000 gallon tanks, right? Or something like that. Or maybe there's small, like I don't know what the tank size is, but you're not talking about like
that's gas.
Gas and diesel, it's the same. The same thing, right? So
well, it's not being burned. It's not being burned.
I'm not talking about the burning though. I'm talking about the storage. But the storage, like, when I was reading the regulations, there's a lot of shit you got to go through, and there's like a lot of those regulations are pretty thick, and the storage, I'm like, whatever, it's not gonna, I think the real issue is how, like, being close to a stream versus not. I don't think the urban suburban storage is much of an issue, but I think I thought the regulations for the storage was pretty robust, and there's a whole thing. God damn it, you gotta start saying it.
If you say we're having this debate on the city council floor out of an abundance of caution,
God,
I may jump across the table and
jeez. But so that, like, for me, like the storage issue, I'm fine with that. Like, gas stations have 20, 30, 40,000 gallons of gas stored. The burning part, I think, is where you got to look at it. And the water issue, I mean, are they talking about a closed system, or is it, they're going to keep reusing water? Like, those are some issues. But I don't know if it meets the Department of Environmental Protection standards. What can you do?
So that hasn't met the Department of Environmental Protection standards for the additional generators.
But it probably could.
But why should we approve something preemptively that hasn't already met the DEP standards?
So I'm not sure if we've gone to that part yet, or if what they've already what was on the agenda last Tuesday night and is going to be in front of the subcommittee this coming Tuesday night, September 30th. Is that already approved on the state side? Because my question is, the Lowell City Council may very likely, a month away from an election, find 6 no votes to tell Markley go screw yourselves. But like with planning boards and zoning boards and people who want to make a development, there are cases where the local boards can say no to things and they still get to do their project if it meets state muster. So I'm wondering, do the state laws supersede whatever the Lowell City Council is going to do?
Well, the city
over
council,
the environmental issues.
Yes, the city council can say we'll approve it, but we need this. We need real-time data reporting. We need this to make the neighbors feel comfortable. And I'll make another.
All of which makes perfect sense, by the way. If those were the arguments I was hearing, I'd support them 100%.
I think any normal person would. So why isn't And another point about before I lose my train of thought. Another point about the gas, and it's like, okay, 20,000 gallons, sure. But every time when you reach a certain threshold, 71,000 gallons, another 24,000, another 96,000, like the risk potential goes up and up and up when you're adding more and more and more. So what threshold, like, it's not the same as approving like 20 gas stations with 20,000 gallons of fuel in different areas. You're now concentrating that amount of diesel fuel storage in one area with the ability to support more and more generators, which will, when they're run, and they have to run 5 minutes every week, will put out more, noise pollution in the air on a concentrated basis. So you do have to think of it that way.
I could see the point about when they turn on, like, the generators. Like, that's something you got to look at. That storage, I think. So
that's monitoring. So it's you just have to monitor the air, monitor the noise. But real-time data, why doesn't Markley in their memo, right, that they were asked to put out, Councilor 𝐃𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐲 asked them to make the memo that they sent, I think the right?
day
The
of the
day
meeting,
of
yeah.
the meeting, which, it was on the agenda the Friday before, Friday or Thursday before. Why aren't you sending out this memo so that counselors have the ability to have more time with it? I don't know. But,
Oh, they'll get their say Tuesday.
yeah, and they should
Sure.
have sent that memo out to the abutters. They should have sent that memo to interested parties that want to, learn more about this, but they should have made it public, so to be able to ask questions. And I have a lot of questions, not problems, with the memo. So
Are we getting another in-depth article? Are you teasing one?
I don't have the time to put it together, but I could put some questions. So the renewable energy certificate, the RECs, that's like what I do for work. Like I deal with RECs all the time, the additional renewable energy certificates. They could show the receipts of this is how many RECs we've retired to meet our 98%, I think it was, obligations. That's contrary to what Bill Martin said on the June 24th meeting. He said they meet 60% of their usage with the RECs. That's what he said.
60. Okay, so
Which is
those
state
two numbers
mandated.
confuse me. So 60% is what's required
by
to
the
meet.
state. And Bill,
They said they're now meeting 98.
so that's different.
Okay.
So if they're
So they
being
may have upped their.
Or he might
in
have
3 months,
purchased-
do you think?
Or did he
You know?
say we meet the 60% and then he didn't specify how much they actually met?
He said 60%, and then I said, that's enough to meet this. That's what you're obligated to do by the state. So it's not like here's a cookie, thank you for doing the right thing. So if they were meeting 98% of their usage with renewable energy certificates, why not say that at the June 24th meeting instead of the 60%? Question, just a question.
So look, by the way, I have reached out to the folks from the Markley Group and the attorney representing them, Bill Martin, former Lowell City Councilor, offered him a chance to come on out here because so
great.
far they haven't really spoken publicly other than
Great.
through their attorney. But he said to me, we've got the City Council scheduled our subcommittee meeting for Tuesday, so we need to focus on that for now. So it won't be in the next few days.
Can we get the Zoom guy on?
We'll get them in. We didn't even get to the hot mic.
Oh.
I know.
But you know what we need to get to? The Shaw Farm Pulse Line,
Yeah.
978 Pulse in. That's 978-785-7346. And Shaw Farm will deliver your feedback to us here in the WellPoint Studios. That's your cue, Lindsay. And notice I didn't do the read. I'm going to let you do
I
it.
appreciate that. Shaw Farm Home Delivery, bringing farm fresh goodness straight to your family's door. Sign up at shawfarm.com. It's Cali Llama. At least we know Batch's safe injection site for Guinness is at the old court.
Oh, by the way, somebody was bringing up, I think that lady that's trying to get on all the ballots there with not enough signatures. I forget her name, but she was speaking at the meeting, and she was.
That lady would be 5th District City Council and maybe 3rd District school committee candidate Sherry Barbosa.
Okay. So she was doing this.
Sherry O'Connor Barbosa.
She was like making this argument about like that, bars and safe injection sites are the same thing. That's one of the dumbest false equivalencies I've ever heard.
So you're saying if you have a drink of Guinness, you're not putting your life at risk?
No. I think you're
It's not making sense.
nobody's ever had a Guinness and died from fentanyl. Like
They're not. So
becoming,
the bars that you have Guinness at are not lacing your Guinness with xylazine.
Well, it's
or
just
any-
there's different levels. Like
lethal
you can have
substance.
you can have alcohol once or twice and not become addicted.
As a matter
Right?
of fact, in some cases, doctors recommend it. A little red wine for your heart.
A Guinness a day when you're pregnant is supposed to be good for you. It is. They recommend it.
So is popping 2
What?
bottles of Tylenol a day while pregnant.
Well, no, but like
I'm doing everything I can to get a YouTube warning on people on this. But isn't that what all the Democratic moms are doing? They're all popping Tylenol now.
I saw that.
Because
Not-
Robert Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump
Jesus.
told them it might cause some issues if you're pregnant.
oh,
The
God.
culture war. Don't pay attention.
But that
It's distraction.
but that was my like.
It's a distraction, honestly. I think that whole thing was a total distraction.
I encourage all of you moms out there, before you raise a 4-year-old kid that's not sure what it is, please pop some Tylenol.
I can't believe
pregnancy.
people are they really doing that?
Yes, they're on
doing
TikTok.
videos. It's videos,
They say that that's what they're doing. I think a lot of it is theatrics, but they're supposedly.
People will do anything for.
Wow.
If Donald
whatever.
Trump
Yeah.
tells people that oxygen is good and that you should breathe every couple of seconds, they will put plastic bags over their heads. There is a certain segment of our country that is so broken.
Yeah.
That I almost hope Donald Trump comes out and does that. Just to put them to the test.
Like just start, trolling them, Wow. Yeah, so that was a false equivalency. And then some of the
You
others.
could go even further and say, eating McDonald's is a safe injection. Like if you're gonna go that far for the gimmicks, go like it's a big McDonald's is also like food is a drug. You could say, right?
There'll come a day where they'll ban junk food.
Well,
to some degree.
they tried to ban nips and Lowell.
Michelle Obama tried doing it in the schools.
Yeah, kale in every school cafeteria. It was big. Went over huge.
Oh yeah, there's plenty that will produce a lot of methane from all the waste. That's crazy what they.
And then she went and partnered with like a high sugar fizzy water company or something, seltzer.
Oh yeah.
It's all about the money. We've almost reached the end of the line. Can you believe it's already 11 o'clock?
Oh my gosh.
Do we have any more feedback on the Shaw Farm Pulse line?
Yes,
Lindsay?
there's one more comment from Michael Porters.
All right.
I think one of the speakers that chimed in on is it Markley?
Markley Group.
Markley.
Markley Group. Some of the properties owned by an LLC, residents in those properties did not receive notification. I just went to management owners, and yes, this is what someone said on the city council floor this past Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, there was some talk that a lot of the houses there or properties are owned by LLCs. When you have a public hearing, you notify the owners of the property, but if the owner of the property doesn't notify the residents, then they can't.
I mean, how hard is it to just put a piece of paper in everybody's mailbox around
Can I ask a question? Is there a finite number of houses that are like in the immediate abutters and then there's some space between that and the next rows of houses that where if the Markley Group ultimately just expands their footprint and buys these people out, makes them a Godfather offer they can't refuse, that it might do away with a lot of this concern?
Well, then you'll just bring the next street. Yeah, you'll bring the next area of abutters.
But if they don't put a diesel tank there, a backup generator there, and instead just keep it as open land,
like a bigger buffer land.
Barriers. Yeah, make it bigger. If you expand the buffer zone, does that create enough extra space that might appease some of these? The surrounding neighborhood as opposed to
they wouldn't move.
Well, let's follow.
Well, not until the price is right.
Right.
I wouldn't either. I'd be holding up the Markley Group like, you guys are going to make a shitload of money the next few years moving data centers.
And let's say that happens.
Nice price.
Let's say that happens. Let's follow your favorite. Follow the money.
Follow the
right?
money.
So the AI data center boom is here. If they get that land and they expand, why wouldn't they put diesel generators right next to the fence?
So that would be a requirement of the deed or whatever. I don't know. Well, if I'm the Markley Group, I would be interested in putting an end to this once and for all, like appeasing people to a degree.
You'd get new neighbors.
Well, that's why I'd buy out as much as I could and then just kind of.
Where does it end?
Put the buffer in wherever. That's a good question. Do tell me where AI is going to end, because we're talking about models that are showing that within, I think, by 2030, 27% of energy usage will go directly towards.
You said 27%, like globally?
Yeah, on the global front.
That's a new one.
And even like higher. I forget the exact years. I actually did a show on this, and I'll dig that data back up. But it's coming quickly. What data centers are going to do to the whole world. Not just South Lowell.
Yeah. So we need to so say they do expand and they add more generators, whatever it is, and say we do have a buffer zone. You're still increasing the amount of generators that's at that site. So you're increasing the potential impact zone for pollution, noise, even further beyond that to I think it's like a mile radius in all directions now. What's it going to be afterwards? Then you have people, in Belvedere affected, and then it's really going to be a problem.
I wonder what the neighborhood would have preferred though. What is it? It was like $12 million in taxes over the 20 years, right?
So that's their property taxes that they would. So it's like the $230,000 that they just paid in 2024 times whatever amount.
Overall tax revenue, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you look at what would the equivalent be if you built single family houses roughly, right? So it'd be about, when you look at the average cost of a house and the tax rate and the equivalency of 12 million over 20 years, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, put some green space in there or something.
Well, it'd be about it'd be over 100, 110, 112, maybe 130 houses to equal that tax base. Would you rather have the data center or a bunch of that many houses in there? What would have a bigger impact?
So that's my question to the abutters. Ultimately, what do you want? And the answer can't be nothing.
130 houses times, let's say, 5,000 in taxes. What would you say? So 130. So let's say 3,000 in taxes would be $390,000 a year.
Well, you got to look at, so it's 450,000 would be the average price of the house, divided by 1,000, multiply it by $11.49.
Well,
Multiply that by 20.
have you factored into that, though, even though the houses are they will generate some level of property tax, how much they're going to cost the taxpayers to educate their kids, send them to
Plus
school?
you're talking about
Yeah, that's a real.
What they're going to add to the sewage,
cars.
the waste, the
Yeah, that's
two
a real-
cars on the road. So
That's a real thing. Absolutely.
I personally, I'd be happy with a data center next to me
I-
than 100 housing units or whatever else would go there.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know.
it's, or worse, if they built, I'm talking about single family homes. Imagine if they built condos. So they built
if Maura Healey came and decided to put,
yeah, they're going to stop building 30,
Shacks.
they're going to stop putting towers in the middle of swamps.
Actually, here's not. So if the Markley Group were to just say, what, screw this, we're done with Lowland, get out of there. 𝐃𝐚𝐢 𝐒𝐪𝐼, I have to give 𝐃𝐚𝐢 𝐒𝐪𝐼 credit for this one. That's where the safe injection site should go. Ba-dum. Any last words? Lindsay,
That's it.
you've had enough of us?
Beyond.
You coming back next week?
No.
No. we need a new Shaw Farm Pulse line person. Where's the other Lindsay? Where's Belvedere Barbie? Can we get her? She's jumping around.
Phone.
Let's get Belvedere Barbie in here. All right, Batch, any last words from you?
No, I'm good.
You don't want to talk about hot mic moments or anything?
Well, the hot mic thing, whatever, it's happened before.
I was going to jokingly start the show today by hitting the go live button and just screaming that piece of shit.
Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about that, but one thing I've noticed, by the way, we got to talk about this at some point, is how much these stupid pocket meters going at 8 o'clock is killing businesses
I
downtown.
agree.
They got to roll that stuff back.
Is it having a negative impact?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I should talk to some of the. I need to talk to some of the business owners.
It should go to 7 at the 7 should be the cap.
6. Should be 6.
6 would be better, but it's you can't go downtown and have dinner or drink and pocket a meter because
And you have to move it. If you say you,
And you have to move it to a different
say you come
zone.
down at 5:30, now you have to move it to a new zone if you want to park till 8. It's ridiculous.
I would, after 5 o'clock, I would allow a 3-hour.
Oh yeah, do that. Do the 3 hours.
Lengthen it after
2 hours.
After 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
2 hours isn't enough.
all right, we'll talk to some of the residents.
Yeah.
Vic, we can't end the show. I can't hit stop recording without
The 100.
the Honduras hug. We need to come together after a contentious week in the city and here on the Daily Pulse Live.
I'll be sure with this one, and it's gonna jump off my last one of the whole judgment thing. So I think it's more important now than ever to take stock of your preconceptions about people. For example, left environmentalists. Keep your mind open. We all we all have our biases and stuff. So just take stock of your own and keep an open mind to what other people, say, and take stock and on both sides, right? And just, keep an open mind and try to separate issues out as separate issues, not lefty or righty things, So just keep doing that and try to assume the best in people.
So you're telling
And
me
yourself.
I shouldn't say the loony lefties anymore. That's not good.
You can.
That's
You can
bad.
say that, but when you're coming at an issue, just think, am I thinking this way because of my preconceptions about those loony lefties?
Oh, hell
or
yeah.
am I,
course I am.
acknowledge it. Acknowledge it.
Okay.
And I'll do the same for you, okay?
Listen, if every lefty advocated like you do, even when I say you're 110% wrong, I think the world would be a better place. I think the leftist movement would be in much better shape.
Yeah, I mean, you're like I said, you were very effective because you have it's a more measured approach.
I encourage everybody to go watch that city council meeting the other night. Listen to the words Michaela used and the tenor of her voice. Go read her column on InsideLowell.com, and then compare it to the
And everybody,
loony lefty.
everybody else made very good points also, especially
No.
But there's a
the
lot
neighbors.
of finger pointing.
Yeah,
I would
there's
be
a lot
upset
of
Here to
Wah.
protect us.
Okay, I would.
Virtue
If you
signaling,
lived there, you
whatever.
would be the same.
It wasn't people that lived there, though. Again, the guy who lived there that
Yeah.
was pissed off, I'm on his side. And
Yeah.
the Markley Group needs to make this
Good.
guy
Yeah,
happy.
butters.
Good.
Yeah, the butters. Take it with a grain of salt.
But the woman who, let's be honest, she drove in from Boston, didn't she? in her gas-powered car to boot.
It's okay. We can listen to people with other perspectives.
She's
Teddy.
mind your business. Go to Boston. Stay out of
See,
Lowell.
that's your preconception.
Mind your business. Stay out
That's
of
your
Lowell.
bias.
Taking her advice.
That's your bias. Stop being such a townie.
So that,
He's not even from Lowell.
but they
kid,
come
I'm
here
kidding,
and then
I'm
they
kidding.
lecture us. Like, how about just speak respectfully, like
It's
Michaela does?
Thinker.
offering other perspectives and other lessons learned, you know? Like
I don't think they would.
Offering or lecturing?
You maybe take it as lecturing.
But see, I think this is the response you get from those people is that you know that they're not listening to anything else. They've already got their mind made up.
Well, you have a preconception of
No, but you're never
is
going to sway them.
There is a strong sentiment in Lowell. And, you know, there's an element that's like, I see where it comes from sometimes, but it's like, if you're coming from out of town and you're trying to tell us what to do, how dare you, how dare you? How about we just like listen first before getting so angry that someone dares come from outside our borders to tell us about lessons learned in other places? Okay?
It's, I don't
That's
know.
not what I heard, though. I just heard like these people, they have like one objective, and they're not going to listen to the other side. Their mind. isn't
There
open.
are certain environmentalists, and I don't lump you into this category, by the way, that no matter what the Markley Group does or any data center across the world, if it's not 1,000% powered by solar, wind, or wind energy, they will fight it.
I agree with
and
you.
that's not realistic.
Right, that's not
and by
realistic.
the way,
I agree with you.
I guarantee you that not if the time comes, when the time comes that nuclear power plants are what powers the future generations, they're going to fight that too, because a lot of this was born out of the Clamshell Alliance and other anti-nuclear movements in the 70s. They shot down nuclear, and by now, if they hadn't started fighting nuclear in the 70s, we wouldn't have to worry about oil, coal, and gas anymore.
Wait, what if we put?
Or we just have 3 Mile Islands everywhere.
What if we had
know?
bicycles with generators at safe injection sites?
Ooh, well, yeah.
So with a stick, you want your just pedal, pedal, pedal.
On that note,
That fights
we're ending
obesity,
today's
too.
show. Lindsay, always good to see you.
Great
We'll see you
seeing
next week. I don't care what you say. You'll come back.
Yeah, you can do this.
Either that or it's Bellevue Barbie stepping in.
She'd never do that.
Michaela, Danielle would never let her. I think she just might, but I don't think Danielle will let her.
She doesn't talk enough.
Michaela Harvest McCarthy, the hyphen. Mike Batchagalupo. Batch. I'll see you two tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah.
If not tonight.
Yeah. Oh, there's an Lowell Drives electric event on
Oh,
Saturday,
yes.
12 to 4, Heritage Farm.
Can I come with my hybrid?
Please, please.
So does a hybrid count as an electric car, even though it's still mostly powered by gas?
Is it a plug-in hybrid?
No, the battery is charged by my
Yeah.
gas consumption.
We appreciate you.
Would you allow me
nonetheless.
though?
I would allow you.
I've reduced my carbon footprint. Does
You know
that
what?
count?
Steps, baby steps. I'll take
By the way,
it.
it's also the best car I've ever owned.
Whoa.
So I'm just gonna say
I
that.
told you they're engineered
They
pretty
get
well.
better and better. Get the plug-ins and go fully electric. We'll get you there,
I'm
Teddy.
not going fully
I
electric.
wonder which one uses overall more, like, which one uses less fuel. Like,
Mine is probably better for the environment because they're still using coal to power the electric chargers.
yeah. I wonder if you could do that.
There's studies. We'll do a show on this. There's like I can bring a lot of studies. Okay.
All right.
We can.
I love it. Thank you, gang. Thank all of you for tuning in. I know we went a little extra long, but hey, so what? It's not radio or TV. We don't have commercials. We don't have time limits. It's the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse live every Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you to our friends at Shaw Farm Home Delivery for helping bring some feedback to us, deliver it to us here on the Shaw Farm Pulse line. We'll see you again next Monday. Got a full week of shows lined up. We've got Greg Pappas. We have, oh God, who do I have? I have somebody. Frank McCabe. Can I be Frank? We've got the mayor, Dan Rourke, on Wednesday. We've got Liam Skinner, Lowell School Superintendent, on Thursday. And then we'll come back live next Friday. Till next week, everybody, stay safe, stay cool, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the other side.